I was 14 when I became a mom to a 5-year-old girl. That girl was my sister Lily because our real mom died after a tree fell and crushed her. I never had time to grieve because as the oldest I had to be the strong one. While Lily clutched Mr. Buttons, her teddy bear, at the funeral, whispering that mommy lived inside him, now I made sure everyone was okay. Not even 5 months passed before Dad brought Diane home. She works as a social worker. He explained, his hand on her lower back. She understands what we're going through. Diane studied our living room like a realtor calculating square footage. Her eyes lingered on Lily, still gripping Mr. Buttons, with something cold beneath her sympathetic smile. Poor baby, she cooed, yanking the bear from Lily's hands to examine it. My sister's whimper made my chest tight. The changes started immediately. Mom's photos disappeared first because they were too painful for the healing process. When Lily cried seeing blank walls where Mom smiled, Diane grabbed her shoulders hard. You can't trick me. I know you're trying to make me feel bad, but you have to let it go. I said nothing, helping pack Mom's belongings while fury built inside me. Diane's grief exercises were torture disguised as therapy. She'd lock Lily in her room for quiet reflection when she cried for Mom. Force-fed her when she wouldn't eat, holding her jaw open. Grieving doesn't mean starving, she'd say sweetly while Lily gagged. Once I caught her ripping Mr. Buttons from Lily's sleeping arms, making her earn him back by reciting Diane is helping me heal 10 times perfectly. I maintained my perfect daughter act but spent nights holding Lily while she shook. Why does Diane hurt me, she'd whisper. Try to be good for Daddy, I'd lie, hating myself. When Diane started making Lily stand in the corner for excessive crying, I knew this wasn't help. This was something else. Dad noticed nothing, too busy planning his wedding until Mom's birthday approached. She would have been 39. Every year she'd take Lily to the cemetery, letting her pick flowers and tell stories. I want to take Lily this year, I told Dad at breakfast. Diane's coffee mug paused midway to her lips. Actually, I've scheduled Lily with Dr. Morrison that afternoon. Intensive therapy for her unhealthy attachments. Her smile was sharp. The teddy bear obsession ends today. The cemetery helps her feel connected. Your mother is dead, Diane snapped at me. And your sister's delusions are pathological. Diane knows best, Dad murmured, not meeting my eyes. That afternoon I came home to Lily's wails. Diane held her arms while behind them a small fire burned. Therapeutic release ceremony, she announced. Lily needs to let go. Please me, and Lily whispered, clutching Mr. Buttons tighter. He has mommy inside. Diane's face twitched. That's exactly why he has to go. She ripped Mr. Buttons from Lily's arms. My sister lunged forward desperate and Diane shoved her backwards hard. Lily hit the ground, grass staining her dress. She screamed like something inside her was being torn apart. Watch carefully, Diane said, holding Mr. Buttons over the flames. This is what healing looks like. Stuffing curled and blackened. Lily's scream cut off mid-breath. 3 days later she still hadn't spoken. Diane shook her. Stop the dramatics. Slapped her face. Speak when spoken to. That morning I found Diane force-feeding Lily breakfast, fingers bruising her cheeks. Swallow or you'll sit here all day. That's when I exploded. You're torturing her. Dad grabbed my arms while Diane locked me in my room. I kicked until my feet bled, then climbed out the window. Found Lily practically catatonic. Carried her to Dad's car, drove without a license to Aunt Sarah's. Sarah opened the door before I could knock her face pale. She pulled us inside, quickly checking the street behind us. Her hands shook as she locked the deadbolt. Lily hadn't moved or spoken since I'd pulled her from that room. Sarah walked to her bedroom and returned carrying a wooden box. She opened it and pulled out Mom's journal. The entry was dated 3 weeks before Mom died. Diane knows about the life insurance. She asked about it during her home hospice visits last year. The landline rang. Sarah answered and put it on speaker. Dad's voice filled the room, but the words weren't his. They sounded rehearsed, like someone was feeding him lines. The doorbell rang. Sarah peeked through the curtain. Through the thin walls I heard Martha from next door carrying soup. She mentioned she'd been a nurse before retiring. Said she'd helped treat Mom's anxiety attacks during her recovery. The attacks that started when Diane became her hospice worker. I flipped through more journal pages while Martha talked. Mom had documented everything. Heavy knocking interrupted us. Diane's voice carried through the door, sickeningly sweet but with an edge underneath. I crept to the peephole and looked out. Diane stood there with Dad behind her. What made my stomach turn was watching her literally move his arm like he was a puppet. Sarah grabbed her phone and called her brother Tom. A lawyer. He told us to document everything. Record if possible. Sarah had an old camcorder. I started filming through the peephole as Diane's demands grew louder. Her mask was slipping. That's when Lily moved. Really moved. Her hand shot out and grabbed mine. Squeezed it. The first real response since watching Mr. Buttons burn. Outside, Dad started crying real tears, but Diane grabbed his arm and pulled him away. Through the peephole, I watched her face twist with frustration. The next morning, my best friend Emma texted that Diane had shown up at her house. Told Emma's parents I was having a psychotic break. Sarah showed me her laptop. The neighborhood Facebook group was lighting up. Diane had posted about a missing troubled teen. My school photo. People were commenting with concern. Ms. Chen from school called. Diane had told them I was dangerously unstable. We needed help, but Diane had already poisoned the well. I snuck out to the library. Searched for Diane's name. Found her LinkedIn profile. 4 different home health agencies in 5 years. Each job ended right after a patient died. Mrs. Park, the librarian, slid a stack of printed articles across the desk. Obituaries. All young mothers who'd beaten cancer. All died in accidents. All had the same hospice worker. Back at Sarah's, her book club friends mentioned seeing Diane at the grocery store asking questions about me. Planting seeds of doubt. I started documenting everything in Mom's journal margins. Martha sat with us that evening. Her hands shook as she told us about her daughter dying last year when her stairs collapsed. Right after going into remission from breast cancer. Diane had been her hospice nurse too. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad begging me to come home, saying Diane could help Lily if I stopped interfering. Using emotional manipulation I recognized from Diane's playbook. The next day I met Emma at McDonald's. Halfway through my fries, Diane walked in carrying flyers with my photo. Emma blocked her path while I slipped out through the kitchen. Jose, a kitchen worker, whispered his mother had a hospice worker just like Diane. She died falling downstairs that had been perfectly fine the day before. He slipped me a sketch of the restaurant's layout marking a back exit. At Sarah's, Tom was reviewing Mom's journal through the phone. He kept mentioning documented patterns and premeditation indicators. Martha returned with news. The Hendersons had security footage from the week Mom died. We gathered around Sarah's laptop. The footage showed Diane and a man working on the oak tree at 2:17 a.m. 3 nights before Mom died. Tom's voice was sharp with excitement. This was evidence. Over the next 2 days, Martha reached out to her grief support group contacts. 3 women agreed to meet with us. All had lost family members under suspicious circumstances. All had Diane as their hospice worker. All deaths involved home accidents. Carol had saved emails where Diane asked detailed questions about their home's layout. The pattern was clear. Diane targeted young mothers with good life insurance policies. Dad texted again. Diane needed me to sign papers about emergency intervention for Lily. Tom explained she was trying to have me declared mentally incompetent. Patricia, Dad's sister, had an idea. Her daughter's widower had broken free from manipulation. She called him and he agreed to reach out to Dad. Nicole, using her nursing school connections, found Diane had been flagged at previous agencies for boundary violations. Diane showed up at Sarah's workplace claiming she was harboring runaway children. That evening Lily suddenly spoke. Mommy. Then hurt. I asked if she meant Diane hurt Mommy. Lily nodded. The blog exploded overnight. Medical professionals were weighing in. The pattern was more common than we'd thought. Patricia called Sarah. She'd been trying to reach Dad. She drove down immediately. When she saw the evidence, she broke down. The next morning Diane arrived with security guards from a private mental health facility. She had forged paperwork claiming I was a danger. Sarah noticed the documents weren't properly notarized. The security guards left apologizing. Diane tried to push past Sarah, screaming about saving those poor children. Martha's husband recorded everything. Dad arrived with Patricia. For the first time in months he looked confused instead of blindly obedient. Diane tried to take control but Dad resisted. He asked to see his daughters. Inside he saw Lily clinging to me. Saw the evidence. Saw Mom's journal open to the entry about the tree. His face crumbled. Tom arrived and advised Diane to leave. She refused. Her composure shattered. She screamed that Mom was weak and had given up anyway. Martha's husband kept recording. Patricia called 911. Diane tried to leave but her car was blocked. When police arrived they arrested her for attempted fraud and disturbing the peace. Dad broke down completely that night. He held Lily and sobbed, apologizing over and over. Lily finally spoke again, telling him it was okay. Patricia brought photo albums of Mom that Diane had made Dad throw away. We spent hours looking through them, remembering healing. The investigation moved quickly. Other families came forward. The man in the security footage was identified. 2 weeks after Diane's arrest she was charged with 2 counts of murder. Dad started therapy with the widower support group. Lily slowly returned to herself. We got her a new teddy bear. The blog became a resource for families dealing with predatory caregivers. Diane's trial was months away, but we were ready. We had evidence witnesses and a community of survivors. I returned to school eventually. Some nights I still woke up thinking I heard Diane's voice. But then I'd check on Lily sleeping peacefully with her new bear and remember we'd won. We planted a new tree at Sarah's house. Lily insisted on helping patting the soil down with her small hands. She looked up at me and smiled. We'd survived. We'd exposed the truth. And while we'd never get Mom back, we'd made sure Diane couldn't destroy another.